Oh boy.
That's the best one so far.
All right.
However,
if you're sick and tired of selling in companies with no consistent lead flow, with lower ticket prices, and marketing that is not dialed in, and you want to get hired by a 7 or 8 figure company where you can actually make real money in sales, and watch this video carefully. Your Loom video is one of the most important pieces in getting hired for a high level sales role. Because if you look, sound, and come across as unprofessional, like high level companies won't even give you a shot at an interview. It does not matter how good you are at sales, you will not get the chance to even prove it. And personally, I see this constantly. Salespeople who are genuinely good at what they do with no idea how to put together an application Loom video that actually gets them hired by the best companies in the space and by the best managers in the space who are hiring for those companies. So in this video, me and my good friend Tristan, one of the sales managers that I respect most in this space, are going to rip through 10 Loom videos from high ticket closers back to back, watching every single one from a sales manager's perspective and holding nothing back, saying out loud exactly what we think as we watch it and rating each one 1 out of 10. So get your pen and paper, pay attention to what we focus on versus what we ignore, and how we react to certain things, because by the end of this, you will know exactly what a sales manager is actually looking for in a Loom video before they ever accept you for an interview.
Now, before we get into it, let me introduce Tristan properly. Tristan is an absolute G of a sales manager across multiple 7-figure companies. He's one of the best B2C sales trainers in the space, in my opinion. He's closed somewhere around $8 million in sales himself, but beyond all of the crazy amazing rumbles, Tristan and I actually go way back, and I don't think I've ever told anybody about this story, but Tristan was actually a closer on the offer where I got my first high ticket sales role, and the manager hired me on, but there's this whole conundrum. I've made other videos about it, but basically I never got to take calls. So Tristan and I never really got to meet per se, but we chatted a little bit, and that love triangle that we had between Tristan and the sales managers kind of continued over the past, 4.5 years, give or take. And we just have a lot of respect for each other. We're both Christians. We both love God. We both love sales. We both love life change and personal development and sales. So it's only inevitable that our paths cross all the time. I send him sales reps for his teams. He, sends facing people every once in a while as well. And it's just a ton of fun. So anyway, Tristan, everybody, welcome on. Excited to have you, dude.
happy to be here.
All right. Well, let's get into it. We're going to hold our ratings until the end. And afterwards, we're going to rate each person, scale of 1 to 10, and see what we think, give some feedback after that.
Hello, Christian. My name is Nathan, and I'm sending this Loom video over to you as a part of my application for the closing role over at your company. Now, I've been in the remote high-ticket sales space for 2 years, and during my time in that 2 years, I've worked in a few different positions, appointment setting and closing. I started off appointment setting for Remote Sales Institute, where during my time there, I did set 20 to 25 sets a week and maintain a 75% show rate with $400,000 in revenue generated, where I then made a pivot into fitness. Now, during my time with fitness, I maintained 18 to 25% close rate on completely cold traffic. I generated over $500,000 in revenue, where I did then pivot into the B2B space, which I'm in now. Now, during my time in the B2B space, I've generated about $1 million worth of revenue, and I've maintained a pretty consistent close rate of 25 to 33%. And I've sold to the ICP of trade services. So plumbers, sparkies, builders. I find I connect with those people really well. What I can bring to any team, and your team specifically, and to meet them where they're at. That is like my main strength, is my empathy and being able to really connect with the person that I'm speaking to and just understand them from a really high level. Now, my worldview on sales is it's pretty simple. It's really just being able to be that doorway and open that doorway up for someone to find that next level of growth, to maybe break that barrier that they've kind of been able to push through for who knows how long. I see sales as a service, and that is it. But thanks for watching the video. Hopefully we can chat too soon and see if there is some alignment between what I bring to a team and what you guys offer. Cheers, guys.
All right. First one, scale of 1 to 10. What do you think? I'll let you go first.
I give him a firm 6.
I was thinking the exact same number. Okay, cool. Why a 6? Let's actually maybe start. Why not a 1? What makes this not like the worst Loom video you've ever seen in your life?
Confidence.
All right. I'd agree with that. He's got a good aura about him. I like him. It feels like he never takes a breath.
I would agree. A bit neurotic.
Yeah.
A bit neurotic.
I feel like a little bit of neuroticism is really good for salespeople in some ways. Mm-hmm. What would, in your opinion, what would make this a 10? How could he improve?
I always like brevity. and I like control when I'm listening to Looms. I have no issue with confidence, but sometimes it's like a wiener measuring competition where it's like, these are all the things that I've done. This is how great I am.
Yeah.
I like when people, yes, go through stats, but don't make the whole point of the video talking about stats.
Yeah.
Make the point of the video selling yourself and selling me on why I should go with you.
Yeah. I feel like personally, a lot of people don't realize that a Loom video is showcasing what your view on sales is and what you believe sales is about in and of itself, because that's what an application video is at the end of the day, right? Like, you are focusing on certain things that you want to focus on that you believe are important. And that will oftentimes mirror what you focus on sales calls. So I would be willing to bet this guy on sales calls is very logical, very data driven. I guess he talks about the personal development and stuff, but I would bet that he might just focus a little too much on the numbers on sales calls, and he might hurry a little bit too much. That's what I would bet.
Yeah. If you saw, like, from the beginning, there was a lot of like neurotic energy, speaking really, really fast, but then he started to come into his own probably like 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah.
He's finally slowing down and not using his hands as much. And
yeah, it feels like he calms down right around here.
yeah, exactly.
Would you hire? Yes or no, based on this?
I
Would
would,
you interview? Let's do that.
I would interview. I would interview, but I would want to see sales calls first.
I agree. I wondered if maybe he put this button up here as a link to his sales calls. I think that would be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good. All right, let's move on to the next one then.
Hi there, my name's Scott MacArthur. I have been in sales now for over a year, well, remote sales. Before that, what I done was I worked in construction for over 10 years, worked my way up to the contracts manager position where I negotiated deals, finalised contracts, and had a wide range of sites I looked after. I then discovered that I actually had a passion for sales. I seen that there's a way of problem solving and actually helping customers get to that next level, as well as showing them that it's not about manipulation, it's about problem solving in their environment and taking them to the next step of their journey. So in terms of sales experience, I've now worked in remote sales for over a year. I've been mostly in the AI space. So I've been working in AI automation at the moment. That has been the last 6 months. I found that very, very challenging, but it's very exciting as well because it's a whole new world for people and you're getting to show them that for the first time. So in terms of my worldview in sales, it's more, what can you show people that's going to help them get to the next level and also broaden their horizons to what's out there and what can possibly take them to that next step. So if you're looking for somebody that's going to be hungry, works hard, takes that blue collar environment into sales, look no further than here. Thanks very much.
All right. Scale of 1 to 10. What do we think?
4.
Okay. 4. 1 out of 1.
I can tell that he thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Okay. What, talk me through that. Why
It sounds
out of
like
1? What is it for?
A lot of theory. It doesn't sound like he's speaking from experience.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
If I had to describe him in one word, I would say stiff.
I love his accent, personally.
Yeah. Thick.
Sometimes I wish I had a cool accent. It is pretty thick.
Yeah. These accents are fun until you're reviewing calls on 2x speed and you're like, what the heck is this guy saying?
Class sales manager core call reviews on 2.5x.
Mhm.
I agree. I think a lot of what he says is kind of like what you said. It's a lot of theory. It's a lot of philosophy. It's a lot of my worldview on sales is instead of like ground level experience. A lot of people, when they don't have ground level experience or as much, like this guy sounds like he's been in sales for about a year. If you have plenty of experience, then usually people will just speak directly to that. Versus if they don't, then they kind of talk up in the clouds a little bit. So I would imagine that's probably what you're picking up on too. Yeah. I think personally, I remember the first Loom video that I actually made to get hired on that offer where you were closing where we had the mutual friend sales manager. And I remember I directly said in that Loom video, so my first ever offer, I straight up said, I have no experience in closing, but I do. Let me tell you about it. They're like, I had no sales experience, but I talked about how I was selling every day, doing what I was already doing as a teacher and this and that. So I feel like for somebody like this, or maybe if you're watching this video and you don't have a ton of sales experience, that can be really helpful if you talk about things you do really have ground level experience in and how it is actually selling or closing for setting or anything like that. Would you agree with that? Disagree with that? Anything you want to add to that? Maybe just a bit of advice for somebody that maybe doesn't have a ton of experience and how they can actually still sell themselves.
Yeah. I mean, you're overcoming an objection right there. Every single person who sees your application and knows you don't have experience is going to want to write you off because of that. So what can you do to change their mind? And I'm big on like efficiency and speed. I like brevity when it comes to these types of applications or Looms, etc. When you beat around the bush and I can tell you're reading off a script, those are just red flags for me. Like what he shared, and I get it. It's like, everyone, there's two types of ways you can take feedback. You can take offense to it, or you can utilize it and use it for yourself in the future. When I see someone reading, it demonstrates to me that they're not competent.
I think for me, this is probably a 3 out of 10 for me specifically. Nothing against it, but definitely could be better.
Hey there, it is Jason Ho here. Now, you might not know anything about me. No problem. Can I have 20 seconds of your attention just so that now, after 20 seconds, you know exactly who I am? So my name is Jason Ho, and you might be looking at a lot of different interviews or different sales rep before, and you might be hearing a lot of good close rate numbers, impressive revenue. Hey, that's not me, right? So what I'm bringing on the table is not only that I do high ticket sales, but before I get into high ticket sales, I was actually running my own marketing agency. And got to the point, I found out that I don't want to do any fulfillment. That was where it brought me into high ticket sales 6 years ago to start focusing on sales. Now, if you're looking for a sales rep, we're not just only know about how to sell, but also understanding about marketing, sales psychology, funnels, and how to get on higher paid conversion on paid ads, then we should probably have a conversation. Because through the past 6 years, I was always going to be the top on the leaderboard on paid traffic, and I have all the data that I can share with you. And that's why people coming in, even the big brand, would like to work with me, because I understand about marketing to the point that I can lower ad spend even as a sales rep, right? So for the past 6 years, I've been generating more than 8.6 million sales revenue to the businesses that I work with. And you might be wondering, hey, this Asian dude doesn't speak perfect English, but still able to generate auto sales. What is the secret sauce? Right? Nothing else. It is just a unique mechanism about me, about how I approach sales, and people actually would like to speak with me even on cold paid ads. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about how I close sales, how I get into 8.6 million sales consistently with no refunds for free, I'm going to drop my link below. You can reach out to me and we can have a conversation. Okay, talk soon. Stay safe. Bye for now.
This guy, scale of 1 to 10, how did you feel about his Loom?
6.
All right, a 6. I'd agree. I'm intrigued for sure. I think he did a good job of creating intrigue. There's definitely a couple little red flags for me. So I'd say probably like a 6.5, maybe 7. I agree. What makes it a 6 for you?
So in the Loom, the thing that's interesting is I'd say the first minute or so, I was lost.
Yeah, I did too.
And when it comes to like attention, just like, business owners that you work for, like your ability to capture attention and convert attention is vitally important in every stage of the process. So for him, it's interesting. He lost my attention initially, and then towards like the mid to latter portion of the Loom, he catches my attention and then he loses it again. So if he were to flip, like one of the hooks that was really good was him talking about the numbers, his experience, and the question that he proposed of like, this Asian guy, he doesn't have great English. Like, how's he even been able to do this? That would have had me instantly.
Yep.
So I would just restructure the Loom.
Yeah, 100%. I can tell that he knows a lot about like what to say, and he knows the theory behind things because he used lots of little things. Like, you know, he says his name. I might not know anything about me. No problem. Can I have 20 seconds of your, like, you can tell that he knows a little bit, but I feel like for me, the execution was off.
Yeah.
I mean, it just didn't quite land it felt a little too cheesy and not authentic enough.
Yeah. And towards the end, it's like you have to make a statement, and he trails off and he loses me towards the end with like overall lack of confidence. Like the taste that you put in someone's mouth at the beginning and the end is vitally important.
100%. 100%. I think overall, the joke about the accent was good. That's always fun. The 8.6 million in sales is a big green flag. Seems like he knows his stuff, pretty professional, but just overall kind of got lost in the sauce. So I agree. So enough, I'd say, for me to interview him. I'd be interested to see his sales calls and see if he operates that way on his call, or if he's different. For you, interview, yes or no?
I would say no. And then additional piece of feedback that I haven't given yet is his background also loses me. It looks like he's in a closet.
Yeah.
It's just how it looks.
Do you know what this thing is? I don't even know. It
looks like R2-D2.
I was like, is it a diffuser? Is it like an air purifier or something? It does look tiny, like there's a wall here or something.
Hey, XYZ owner. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Danny, and I'm from Doha. I came across your product and your coaching, and I find it very interesting. And it's still one of the few offers in the space that actually promises what it does and solves a very unique problem that people need. Talking about myself, I'm from a finance background and not from a typical sales background. And being from a finance background, I know how it is to run the numbers, having attention to detail, having conversation with a lot of people that take decisions quick, that take decisions slow. So I had the opportunity to work with a different variety of subsets of people. Now, I've been heavily investing into myself, into learning communication, human psychology, human behavior, and also sales with Christian Jack. So I'm going to bring in the work ethic that I had in corporate and pair it up with these skills and make them into a bulletproof skill set that I can deploy in your organization. Now, I'm not going to promise you that I'm going to close 100% of your leads end of this week. But what I can guarantee you is that I'm going to come in and put in the effort. I want to take feedback. I'm going to bring in more revenue so that I work in the best interest for your organization and also for the clients that come in, because I need to help you help the clients and bring a positive impact to the community. So if this seems like a right fit for you, let's have a chat.
Okay. Scale of 1 to 10. How do we feel?
4.
I'd agree. Why a 4 for you?
Anytime I hear XYZ company, it's automatically, I'm going to get off the Loom.
Yeah.
But what I would say is, like, with this personality, I'm picking up on overthinking tendencies, analysis paralysis, trying to be perfect, afraid to make a mistake. And I've hired so many reps at this point. I had to fire a rep today where, I mean, it takes them 3 or 4 weeks to ramp, to even go through the playbook.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where when you know that the way that you look comes across a certain way without you even opening your mouth, you have to pre-handle some of those things. Like, even as an example, if you would have started off the Loom by saying, I know what you're expecting, seeing me, and this is not racism, but it's like just seeing me and seeing, you know, the types of people that get on calls like this, you would expect, you know, analysis paralysis, overthinking, etc. I'll have you know that I've spent $15,000 or $20,000 from my own personal development. That's how serious I am about getting to the level that I need to get to for myself, my family, my future, etc. That's a hook. Because the way that I read Looms and the way that I read situations like this is, how can the person viewing this see me and view me the wrong way? And how can I get ahead of that as quickly as possible? Yeah,
100%. They call that in psychology the spotlight effect, where it's the idea that, like, so the other night, I walked into my bedroom, and just inside of our bedroom, we have like this really big TV stand, and it's probably the heaviest fucking TV stand you've ever seen in your goddamn life. It's insane. It's so heavy and it's so thick. And just for whatever, I think my angle was off when I came in. And so the lights were off. It was late at night. I want to make sure I didn't wake up Hannah. And I walk in, I stub my toe on the thing, I've fallen before, and it sucks. Like, I don't know if you've ever felt that before. It sucks. It's like a pinky toe too. It's one ring a big one. But then as soon as I grab my phone from my pocket and turn on the flashlight, I navigate perfectly to the bed and, go to bed. Mm-hmm. It's that, where if something is in the dark, it will kind of come and stub your toe if you wrong. Versus if you just put a flashlight on it, and you can get around it usually pretty easily. It's not even that hard. But yeah, I 100% agree. You just call it out. It is maybe slightly racist, but I think salespeople are the most racist people in the world, because it's just, you see the typical stuff. It is what it is.
It's
anyway,
recognition.
Exactly. Overall, I think the finance background, that's good for him to bring in. It's specific about him, as long as he also calls out what you mentioned. I think if he paired those two things together, it'd be really good. Say something like, half the closers that you hire probably never do their admin, never look at their numbers, never know what the biggest bottleneck is in their process. And looking at somebody like me, I've got a finance background. That's my biggest focus. However, there's a lot of people, who look like me, who also get caught in overthinking and, perfectionism and all that kind of good stuff. So if you paired those two together, I think you could do really well. But yeah, I'd agree, probably a 4 out of 10 for this. For me, the interviews, probably a no. What about you?
Agreed. That's a no for me.
All right. Sounds good. Feels like we're on America's Got Talent or something. Like, it's a no for me. We should have like a golden buzzer, like immediate hire.
Hey, my name's Reuben. Started off selling wall filtration at a Home Depot, June 2024. If you've been to Home Depot and seen people like getting cackled, that was me. And then September that same year, I transitioned to high ticket sales, which I've generated $850K in revenue. So I first started with fitness sales online, where the best reps are. Then I've sold up until this point business funding, biz op, public speaking, coaching, and then most of my work has come selling business coaching to high level B2C prospects. So one of the best fits for your team is really my ability to pivot and adapt. Let's say the lead channel shuts down, ad account gets shut down. I still won't be able to make the money I want to make. So I'll pivot, right? Cold outbound, prospecting, hitting the pipeline, making sure I'm still bringing across money for the company, which gets me paid. And like, you can't expect your prospect to pivot and find a way to get your help if you're not doing the same when things don't go your way, right? So that's just a little bit about me, and looking forward to hearing back from you.
Scale of 1 to 10. How do we feel?
I wanted more, but I'll say 7.
Yeah. He had brevity, which I think was good. It was good. What makes him a 7 for you, aside from the brevity?
Experience. I like him talking about rinsing his pipeline and self-setting his own leads and being aggressive there. I think he should have spent more time there than any other part of the Loom. Home Depot doesn't move the needle at all in my mind.
Yeah.
He could put that in there, like talking about risks he's taken and how he was a Home Depot worker and now he's got to this position and the resilience that it takes to make decisions like that.
Yep.
But I think spending more time on resourcefulness and not being a fat closer and not just sitting around and waiting for marketing to kick in or lead flow to kick in or blaming and pointing the fingers at anyone aside from himself would have gotten me reaching out and getting him on a call.
I agree. I think the biggest key here for me is a few of these people now have put in like unique things from their backgrounds, which is on face value a really good thing, but it has to be tied into why should this person care? Like if you're talking to a manager who has a team of 10 other reps and they're looking for another one, like why do they care that you worked at Home Depot? Like kind of like you said, if it's resilience, if it's the life change, the ability to make hard decisions, whatever it might be, sure. As long as you tie it in, you're good. Otherwise, it just feels like a feature dump, if you will, of your background, your story. Yeah. So always tie it in. Don't just leave it there as a bit of a fact about your story, your life. It sounds pessimistic, but I feel like people don't really care about your story, your life, only as much as it serves them and what they're looking to do. And that's sales at the end of the day, right?
100%.
Cool. 7 out of 10. I'd say for me, this was probably maybe 6 out of 10. If he had a little more energy, very calm. So that's a good sign. But if you're able to also showcase that you can turn yourself on, like really lock into the moment, have some passion, have some energy about something, rather than just being completely flat the whole time, that also shows me good things. So that could have bumped him up. Interview, yes or no?
I would give him an interview.
I'm on the line with him. I think I would. He communicates very well. It feels like he's clear, he's concise. So that was good. And he's got that working for him. I agree. Next one. Oh boy. Did already tell.
My name is Azza. I'm consistently sold high ticket across multiple verticals and operate with long-term ownership. I've sold mainly in B2C, in e-com, trading, affiliate marketing, digital products for the likes of Legendary Marketing and 5,000 Company. I've been closing for 4 years where I've done $6 million in cash collection and offer sizes ranging from $3,000 to $12,000 US. The way that I was able to do that is by showing up with consistency and mastery, meaning always keeping up to date and further developing my skill sets through investing heavily in myself, not just in sales, but in physiology and mindset such as Bob Proctor. Our sales trainers, likes of Dan Smith, Bill Walsh previously and currently, getting mentorship from Valentine Junger and Kristen Jack. I'm very deep into influence and psychological sales styles is what I'm studying right now with that. That goes deep into emotional selling, emotional pains, and very good at discovering pains, pre-handling fear and more. The ongoing coaching keeps my standards high and my approach sharp as well. So I feel like sales is, not just a script, it's, the unspoken, the emotional tone in the room. And that's something that doesn't just come with mentorship alone, it's life experience. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you are looking for someone who is going to, break records in the company and actually be a good culture fit and consistent, you know where to find me.
All right. Scale of 1 to 10.
That's the best one so far.
All right.
However,
Here we go.
if you're going to read from your computer, do not wear glasses that show what you're doing. I don't know why.
The hoodie got me too. I was like, oh my goodness. All right.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
What she said was not, it didn't need to be written down. Like you could just rip that off the dome.
Yeah.
It just puts you in the category once again of perfection, analysis paralysis, overthinking, going to take a ton of hand holding. I'm all about the investing in yourself, and I'm all about not flexing that, but leveraging that to show, hey, I'm resilient. I'll do whatever it takes. I put my money where my mouth is. I'm committed to this. I love that. In fact, I've known many reps that invested $10, $15, $20,000 before they took their first call. And those are always the best reps. But I would give her a 7.
Yeah. I think the words that she said, I'd probably give a 7. Visual representation, 3, maybe a 4. The scripture right at the beginning where she said something about like various different verticals, etc. That immediately, as soon as she shifted away from that language pattern, that's how I knew that she was reading off of something, not to mention her glasses. So just take that out or talk that way all the way through. I think don't wear a hood on your application video. Like, be intentional about it. Clean up a bit. The words were good. Clearly had a decent track record in sales. Had some good experience. I think the experience and the words that she said well enough are enough to give her an interview for me. But I've got my antennas up in that interview and really looking for reasons to disqualify rather than what you'd hope an interview would be, which is like, why should I hire you? Like, what are the good things and how can we improve? What about you? Interview, yes or no?
I would say, like, if we're playing the game of does this get me an interview, I would say no. But if we're playing the game of does this make me curious enough to ask for calls that I can review myself to come to a decision, the answer would be yes.
Hey, I'm Lewis, based out of Vancouver, Canada. Super excited to be the next killer in the offer here. As a sales rep, I've had over $500K in cash collected, mostly over the last 7 months on my current offer, where I'm the sole setter and closer of my team, where I help them scale from 20K months to over 100K months since I first joined. My sales style is structured and consultative. I seek to understand my prospects and guide them to make clear, aligned decisions towards getting what they want. I help them clearly see the gap between where they are, where they want to be, and what's getting in the way in between. I stay curious, ask the right questions, and never assume. I thrive in an environment that will challenge me and pressure me, and I believe that this role will help to shape me towards becoming one of the best in the space. I take complete ownership of my own outcomes, always look to do my best, always look to improve. I take feedback seriously, and I act on it. And most importantly, I don't tolerate my own excuses, so I won't tolerate anyone else's either. I do what I say I'm going to do, and I'm ready to prove that. So, appreciate taking the time to watch the video. I look forward to hopping a call with you soon to see if we're aligned to change lives and put money together. So, ciao.
Scale of 1 to 10.
7.
All right. For me, Say probably a 5. If it wasn't all scripted, I'd probably also be a 7. Why 7 for you?
Similar to the last Loom, I can tell that there is on paper the things that he's reading, confidence. It's just an intuition thing from working with so many reps and being on so many meetings and reviewing so many calls that I can tell that he doesn't fully believe the things that he's saying.
100%.
I can just tell. The other thing that I would say is, once again, it's going to sound racist. It's just the patterns, dude. The patterns. I know it's going to be slow ramp. I know it's going to be tons upon tons of questions and spoon feeding. And I'm looking for self-starters. I'm looking for the guy who maybe he doesn't ask all the questions under the sun, but he is resourceful enough to figure things out on the fly, and he doesn't need to be coddled.
Yeah. Would you say for you personally, I notice a theme here, and I'm the same way. I don't want to create more work for myself as a manager than I need to. But do you feel like that's one of the bigger things that you're looking for in a sales rep from their Loom videos is like, is this person going to be a perfectionist? Are they going to be a procrastinator? Are they going to like wait for everything to be just right? Or are they somebody who just like starts even when it's messy?
Yes. So I'll give you a perfect example of this. I have one account that's doing close to $1 million a month. I've brought in, say, 15 salespeople on this account since I've been with the team for the last 7 months. And this guy going through this process stuck out like a sore thumb because every single rep before him, they didn't ask specific questions. Hey, I noticed in the playbook that, this link is off and I don't have this onboarding link and how do I do this? And just asking so many questions. I'm like, dude, I'm managing 3 other sales teams, not saying that a braggadocious way or egotistical way, but I don't have all the time in the world to be answering very simple questions that if you were to ask another rep or you were to look in the playbook a little bit further, you would get the answer to the question you're asking. It's just like a panic mode, red alert, the sky's falling, like I need it now in all caps, those types of things, where 10 or 12 other reps prior to you never had any issues. Never had a question like that. And if they did have a question, it was like on a sales meeting, they would ask a very specific question, or they would exhaust every playbook and person under the sun
everywhere
coming to me. Yeah.
100%. I agree. I think it's, like I said, no need to create more work for yourself as a manager. And like, if you do that, not only internally on the team, but it's also going to be that way with prospects. Right. So yeah, I agree. Okay. So 7 out of 10 for you. What would you maybe give as a bit of advice for somebody like that? Maybe somebody's watching this video and they know that they have a tendency to be a perfectionist. They know that they have a tendency to just like get lost in the sauce sometimes. What would be maybe a bit of coaching or a bit of advice you would give somebody like that?
I don't want to be, I have a tendency to be absolute in statements. So what I would say is I would be asking for feedback and I would be extremely persistent with no's to get clarity as to why, and I would be making adjustments accordingly. And it's as simple as like being resourceful, positive or negative feedback. You have to have it and you have to pivot and adjust based on the feedback that you get. It doesn't matter.
For sure.
If it's a recurring theme, like I would be taking all feedback as a step in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. I think if I were to give some advice to somebody who finds himself in constant procrastination and perfectionism, my advice is it's a muscle to be worked, to just move even when things aren't completely perfect, even when you don't have all the information, even if you feel like something's missing. Find a number like 70%. 70% for your criteria. If it's met, move forward with it. And don't just like nitpick, but work that muscle. It's the same as you go to the gym and work on any other muscle. So it's not just going to get better by itself. In fact, I'd say it probably gets worse over time. If you're a perfectionist, like I haven't seen that get better through just allowing it to be there and hoping. Yeah. Like it has to get better if you're breaking your own boundaries, per se, and moving when you don't feel like you're ready. Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. Let's go. All right, this guy's curious.
Are you looking for a bold guy, but not just any kind? The kind that generated $750,000 in sales just in this last year alone. I was a recruitment top performer at my previous job who keep exceeding goals month after month, and I'm here to talk to you about results. I didn't hit that number by luck. I did it by building trust fast with my clients, finding customers, real pains, and turning casual conversations into closed deals. I don't just close. I create relationships that keep playing out. This is what you get with me. Accountability, drive, I am hungry. I am adaptable. You don't need to micromanage me because I hold myself to a higher standard. So if you're looking for long-term value, if you're looking for proven record, high energy, and someone who can come and compete and contribute to your team of sales, let's not waste time and give me your interview. Talk soon.
All right. Scale of 1 to 10.
3.
Boom. All right. Talk me through it. Why 3?
The editing communicates to me that you can't stand on your own. You need additives to feel valuable.
Okay. Fair. Do you think that, let's say another sales manager might feel different than that, like opposite of that? Do you think that's a personal preference, or do you feel like it's fairly universal?
The most clear-cut, confident, direct Looms, they never have any kind of like, popping sounds, screenshots on the Loom. Like I've rarely seen that and move forward with a rep. Most confident reps, like they let their actions do the talking, and they'll leverage what they've achieved, but they don't make that like the sole focus. Your eyes are just waiting for the next screenshot.
Yeah.
It's like the screenshots are doing the talking, not you.
Yeah. 100%. I'd agree with that. What do you feel like would be other things that you might change about this, whether for better or for worse? What do you feel like are some things that he do well? What are some things that he could improve on?
For the stats that he's talking about, he would need to be more humble. Like $750K in a year is nothing. Based on my standards, at least.
Yeah.
And I would rather him take the approach of like 750,000 in a year. Doesn't sound like a lot, but let me explain to you what it took to get there and what my standards are, what I want for myself, and what I'm willing to do in order to achieve that. Not talking about how amazing you are for rookie numbers.
Maybe this would be helpful for people. What do you feel like are numbers that can be shared? What's the threshold of numbers to where it's good enough numbers to share and like kind of be able to be proud of, versus numbers that maybe feel a little bit low that you should hedge against and talk about what it took to get there? Because it's like 750K with that Loom as an example. Like you said, it's pretty low. Like, I think I remember one weekend, we were at an event, to be fair, but closed $1.2 million in a weekend, just me. So like 750K feels definitely low, but where do you feel like the threshold is? Is it $1 million a year in revenue closed? Is it 1.5? Where do you feel like that is?
I've seen reps who are more skilled not be at $1 million in a year. So that's not even really what I look for. I think 500K plus gets your name dropped in the hat, like under consideration, depending on the time frame. But knowing what you know about the high ticket space, like I would be doing more fact finding to know like what's good versus what's not good. And it shows me that you haven't been in the space very long and you don't really know what people like me are looking for when you throw out numbers like that and act like that's heavy hitting numbers. Yeah. So, but it only takes one round of feedback to hear that, to make a pivot. There's nothing wrong with doing $750,000 in a year, but it's just how you communicate that.
So 500K gets your number in the hat. Where do you feel like the number is that starts to make your ears perk up? Like, listen, this person could be good.
Yeah. When I hear like 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, I know you've been in this space for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that tells me that you're worthy of consideration without me even seeing any like calls or Looms or anything like that.
Yeah. Do you think it's worth bringing in other numbers that contextualize that number? So like, for example, if somebody were to say that they only closed 750K, but they did it in a space where maybe it was like fitness sales, as an example, and every sale was like $1,000.
Yeah.
Like if that's the case, I feel like that's a lot more impressive.
Yeah. Break it down. Make it make sense. Because even like, we get to a spot where we hear the millions all the time. Oh, it's 10 million, all this stuff. And then you look at the recordings and you're like, this doesn't even, like, how?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Contextualizing it and getting more granular with it is helpful.
Love that. All right. Advice. If you maybe closed a little bit less than other people, contextualize it a little bit. See if you can make it make sense.
I'm Al, and the reason why I would be great for this dream role is because of the experience that I have with working with people. I've been working with them for 20 plus years, and I know that in the end, sales is a conversation, and it is a tactical conversation to get somebody to either what they want and figure out how successful they would be in the program, or just how successful they are, and eventually they figure out exactly what they want. Now, what is unique about me is I don't have much of a filter, and getting like around what people's filters are, or just cutting through them, has been like super helpful in my life. And with that, there is going to be some times where I rub people a certain way that gets them to realize a different perspective on how they can actually live. Now, my worldview about sales is that we are here to best serve the other person and figure out the probability of them being successful in whatever they choose to do. And so if I'm selling something, then let's see how probable it is for them to succeed here. If they're going to go pursue something, let's ask. Let's see if they're even going to be successful there.
Okay. Scale of 1 to 10.
2.
Yeah. I was going to say the same one. All right. Why a 2 for you? What do you see? What, I always feel like it's helpful to start with what you feel like they did well. And then what do you feel like could improve?
What did he do well? Dude, all my brain went to the negatives, honestly.
Yeah. Dude.
There's not a lot good that he did other than showing up for himself.
Yeah. I think he communicates clearly. He's got good enunciation, but I was confused by a lot of what he said. It was like a little bit all over the place. Like I wasn't sure what he was saying pretty much the entire time.
Yeah. And his body language and his eye contact. If those would have been right, and it sounds so cliche, like anyone hearing this would be like, what the heck are you talking about? But if he just sat upright and he looked at the camera the whole time, or maybe he would, divert every now and again, that would have communicated a completely different story.
I agree.
What I got from watching that was that he didn't believe a single thing coming out of his own mouth. And the background tells the story too. When I see tape on the back window and I see one picture, or maybe his daughter drew that, or son drew that, like that's cool. But when I pay you $10,000 or $20,000, I mean, where's that money going? Is that going to fix that window in the back? Like I had a rep. It looked like the back of his shot was like a roof that was caving in. Like I could see through the back of the shot into the sunlight, dude. And I'm like, how can you expect me to pay you 10 grand when this is how you're showing up for yourself? And it sounds wild. It sounds like, unempathetic, but it's the truth.
I don't think it's unempathetic at all. I think that a lot of people just think they quote unquote deserve to like make a certain amount of money or something because they work hard or whatever it may be. Like where I'm sitting right now, I'm looking out this window at this shopping center being built right across from this coffee shop up there. And these guys are shoveling dirt all day. They're putting up siding. They're working on this building, literally building it. And I know for a fact that they're not making 10K a month. I guarantee you. Working hard does not mean that you just like deserve the money per se, right? So it's got to be something else. And if you look at who actually makes 10K a month in like typical 9-to-5 jobs, they have to show up a certain way. They have to dress a certain way. They have to look in a certain way. They have to communicate a certain way. And I think a lot of people leave those sorts of positions because they hate being confined to those things. But then once you're in the space long enough, then you realize how much those things actually matter. Like showing up well, having a clean background, dressing well, communicating well, all those things. Eventually, I found that people run away from those things to get into freedom in the space. They have freedom and they show up like this or with the hoodie and reading the script in the glasses, reflection. And then eventually either they quit or they find their way back around to what they were running away from in the first place. And that's when they finally start to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you stop running.
Yeah.
Basically. I feel like I know the answer, but let's ask. Interview, yes or no?
No.
All right.
Insider here, applying for my dream role at Sovereign Man Married Cooking. I really felt aligned with this role. I've been in sales for the past 3 years, on and off before that. But the big reason why I felt so called to this opportunity was I've actually been through a divorce, so I have life experience that I think just lends to where these guys are at. I believe that sales truly is service, and getting on calls with these guys is not just about trying to close a deal. It really is about transformation. So I know that the evolution that happens with these men is really it's a new identity. Guys that come into the program are going to be a different person at the end of the program than they are even when they meet with me. So if I can be a small part in that, being that instrument of change, I find that deeply impactful. This is an opportunity that I want to grow with for the rest of my life because I feel called to help more men. The more men I help, the more families I help, the more children I help. My goal would be to help at least 200 men in a calendar year. And in doing so, with the average size of an American family, I'd be impacting 400 kids in a calendar year, which is incredible. So I sell through service. I don't necessarily follow a script. I really want to connect. And I use childlike curiosity is what I go into my sales calls with. So I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.
All right. Scale of 1 to 10. 4. 4. Explain.
It sounds like he has experience in areas that would lead him to empathize more with the ICP, which is cool. I don't know enough about the story to feel confident that he's the guy to navigate those types of conversations. And I don't.
Can you expand on that? I think I know what you mean, but
he mentions the fact that he's been divorced, but he doesn't shed light on what that did to him and how he overcame that.
Yeah.
And how that's going to lead to him having leverage to speak into these men.
Yeah.
It's very much like, life happened to me and I can relate, but it's like the blind leading the blind is how it made me feel.
Right. What did you learn from that? That's what I want to know. Like, how did it change you?
Yeah.
How did you grow?
This is exactly why I'm the best person on earth to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Just that level of confidence.
Yeah.
I feel like he's still in a storm himself. I feel like he's still in the dark. And another thing that rubs me the wrong way with Looms is, why are you doing it on the phone on your front porch or your back porch? Like, when you say this is a dream role and I want to be doing this for the rest of my life, you're going to record it on the phone and selfie and submit? I just don't buy it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I felt like the energy was low. I don't know if it was just like late at night when he was doing it, or like family was asleep and not trying to wake him up or something. Same thing with the divorce thing. I agree. Just having gone through it doesn't necessarily qualify you to have conversations with people you can empathize, but leadership is huge. So I want to hear more of like what you learned from a bad experience. I think that bringing in a trial or a bad experience, or, like a problem that you experienced in your life can be good, but only if you contextualize it again in why it matters right here, right now, the people you're going to be speaking to, the offer you're going to be selling, or whoever you're speaking to on the Loom that's going to be watching the video. So I definitely agree. If you were to say, out of all these Loom videos as context, what advice would you give to people as final ending advice if they're about to go and hit record on their Loom video right after they watch this YouTube video? What advice would you give them? What framework would you give them? Anything would you give them?
You have to have a good hook. Talk about your experience. Don't let that be the sole focus of the video. Sell yourself in the video, but don't overdo it. If you don't have the experience, call out the elephant in the room yourself. Don't just let them leave wondering whether or not you're a good fit. Like, tell them why they should go with you. And then I would say, finish strong and be persistent with follow-up. Just because you get a no, or just because you don't hear back from somebody, does not mean that you're not doing the right things. And some of the best reps that I've ever worked with were people that I told no initially. They came back.
Appreciate you, dude.
You're the man, Christian. Thanks for
Likewise, dude.
Now, if you're in sales and your income goes up and down like a fucking roller coaster every single month, and it feels like a casino, like you never really know what you're going to make next month, and that anxiety, that stress just gets you. I get that. I have lived that in my entire first year in my career in sales. And I struggled until I figured out that the one skill that I really needed to be successful at sales was adapting my communication in my process to each individual prospect that I ever spoke to. But that took me years and over $1 million invested into coaching and mentorships and learning in order to even figure that out and fully learn it and actually master it. You see, I learned that most average salespeople sell the same exact way to every single person, but the ones who are really successful, the ones who make 30, 40, 50K every month for years on end, actually adapt their process to understand the person who's in front of them and sell to them the way that they want to be sold to. They simply read the person in front of them, they understand how that person thinks, how they buy, how they make decisions, and what they need to hear in order to do so. And they just simply adapt, and it works every single time. That is what we call adaptive selling, and that is a skill that turns every cold lead into a closed deal. And once I figured that out, I kid you not, my income skyrocketed. It doubled month over month for the next year straight. And that skill is why I created the Black Belt Closer. Here's what some of my students have done with this exact approach. Ahmet went from inconsistent 5K months to over $30,000 in just 20 days of working for a month. Joe went from 10K a month as his top month as a closer to consistently making 30K a month for the next year straight, and then becoming a sales coach and making 80 grand the very next month. Oscar went from inconsistent 5, 6, 7K months, even his top month was a 10K month, to consistent 20K months and even a $32,000 commission month on the way. That was the biggest income month of his entire life. And one of his best friends, Brody, who also signed up, went from, he was doing anywhere between 5 to 15K a month consistently to 25K a month consistently, and his top month being $29.3 thousand in commissions. And he even made upwards of $9,000 in commissions in a single day. Velko is another example. He consistently makes $45,000 to $50,000 every single month and has been for almost the past year. Ethan, same thing. He started with zero sales experience. He was brand new and he went from $0 to $20,000 a month consistently in just a year. And Vince made over $12,300 in commissions in his very first month as a closer, even as a brand new beginner. Renee went from closer to sales manager and even sales director, hitting 20 to 30K months consistently for 6 to 12 months. And these guys and the thousands more that I've coached on this exact adaptive selling system prove that it works. And once you learn it, you can finally stop hoping that the right person just magically shows up on your call, hoping the right person is fed to you like a baby bird from marketing, which, let's be real, can go up and down every single month. You never know what the fuck's gonna happen there. And you can start adapting your process in a way that you know for a fact will work for every single person that you call, every single person that shows up on your meetings, and finally start making consistent money in sales every single month, month after month, year after year, like clockwork. And you can do it no matter what offer you're on, no matter what happens with marketing, and without even having to change your selling style that you're used to, that you've paid thousands of dollars to learn and probably thousands of hours to practice. The freedom that you got into sales for is finally here. Click the link down in the description below in order to see if Black Belt Closer is the right fit for you.